Yeah, they say they want this more science, so I'ma give it to them. Islamism, no illusions when I'm interviewing. Know what I'm doing, no confusion, I ain't into crooning. I'm in the moving units, out here starting revolutions. In love with shooters, making masterminds out the goonies. I got them booming out here, zooming on the plane of soul. I tell them take me to the grove, they like Islam mode. I'm letting them know this not a show, this all systems go. It's two selves, one man, both high and low. I'm so spiritual, the indigos feel the vibe. I'm so lyrical, a miracle that I survive. Extend my 5 to the 4, I can see him coming. Plus my angel got the angle with the engine running. It's all justice, freedom, peace, truth, and love.
It's chapter 7, mind of an Asiatic, homie, yo. See, any other time, I wouldn't pay you any mind. Put my best foot forward in every verse and every line. I used to dream, I used to pray about the day that I get signed into the truth. About this business just blew my mind. I swear to God, I used to think all I needed was a skill. High verse, catchy hook, dope look, then get a deal. I used to love the rock a sold out show just for the thrill until the real was revealed to my spirit like Jabril. I'm iconic.
All right. Islam, Moorish, peace and love. We're going to get started today. We're going to be speaking about Moorish American relationships, but really we're speaking on the importance of marriage, obligation for Moorish Americans, something that gets swept under the rug, something that's not really understood. People want to build a nation, but you don't even understand. We don't even understand that it starts with the family. You can't build a nation if the families are dysfunctional and broken up. You got these children over here in this household, these children over there in that household, and we don't even think we need to be together. We don't even think it's important for us to be together and to fight for each other and to build a legacy for your family. We don't even think that's important. How you gonna build a nation? Come on, Morris. So this should be common sense for us, but it's not, because we coming from messed up situations. We coming from savagery. We coming from dysfunction. So let's go ahead and get started. We're gonna make sense of it. Powerful bill between me and the wife. Before we get started though, short disclaimer. This video represents the views of us. All right, it's based off our personal experience, our life experience, what we really living like. We really married for 20 years. We really been together for 21, maybe 22 years now, okay? And so we speaking on it, and we really didn't have it good coming up, and we really didn't have parents that was married and stayed together and taught us good, gave us powerful, wisdom. We didn't have that. We had to learn the hard way. So ain't no excuses. So before we get started, though, we always rise and get highest praise to the Most High, Father God Allah. We extend honors to our divine prophet, Noble Drew Ali, and we also extend honors to everything Moorish. And honors to all of you faithful Muslims watching right now. I'm going to ask you all that are watching to click the like and share button. Okay, so we have some sources here too in the video description, especially if you're watching this on YouTube. If not, make sure you go over to the YouTube later on. Check out the sources that are in here. Okay, we're not making things up. So let's go ahead and get started. You know how we do here. You're listening to the True and Living Light Bringer Moors in America. As always, I'm your brother, Lloyd Douglas, also known as Sharif Ali. We here are uncovering and bringing glorious light to all issues pertinent to the Moorish American paradigm. That's what we do on this podcast known as Moors in America. So if you don't even know that marriage is important, but you're calling yourself a Moorish American, well, now it's time to get right, because we ain't making this up. This is coming from the prophet. We have divine instructions on this, but we're going to touch on that, Moors. We're going to touch on that. And let's go ahead and get it started. But before we do that, make sure you click that like and share button. We need a lot more likes on here. There's enough people watching this. We need to get those likes up. We're on Twitter right now, YouTube and Facebook at the same time. So we need to get those likes up and to get those shares up. And this is the type of information that y'all need to be sharing, because people sharing the ignorant stuff. They're sharing the, all the chitter chatter, gossip, celebrity, fake mess, sharing all that. But some of y'all scared to share the realness. I know I'm not talking to the people though that's clicking that share button. So y'all click the share, and we're gonna go ahead and get things started. Make sure you like it and share it. Here's a word from our sponsors.
I am not a Negro, black, colored, African American. I'm a Moorish American. Peace.
Yeah. Hey, 5 on the right, 2 on the left, man. You know what time it is. Yo. We just Moors in America, soared through the shores and endured criminal acts of war on our character. 7 years after the 4th score, no reward. Shout out to the most courageous, they was jumping over barriers. Where does that compare to you? We come from a place where you scared to visit our area. We come from a place where it's scary for good Samaritans. Heavy luggage we carrying, babies having babies. It's crazy being American. Praise the one and only Allah, there's no comparison. La ilaha illa Allah, body and buried gin. Laughing at you clowns like ha-ha, dodging the Nephilim. Conquer lower self with the high, follow your regimen. Way before they came we were gods, and now we specimen. Tried to take the light from our eyes, thank God for Edison. Then they put the wool on our eyes, it's so embarrassing. Now we travel frequently, we should invest in Sheraton. All of us got gold on our bodies whenever we stepping in. Screaming Ramadan, Mubarak, training the flesh again. Wishing we could move as a unit just like the Mexicans. Dodging all the foods with estrogen, synthetic medicines. All sin isn't devilish. Sometimes the decisions that you make come for a better gift. Sometimes when you sin is to relate to all your brethren. Heavenly gates all in our face, we the champions. We live in the sky, we see the angels on the chariots. Waiting on the $20 bill, face a Harriet. I bet you I'ma carry it. I'm in love with music to the point I wanna marry it. But my love for people is greater, so I write messages. Largest spending power, but we still sit at a deficit. Living amongst prejudice, even at our residence. Moors in America, flourishing, excellent. Let's buy up some neighborhoods and groom our own president. Yeah. And I come to you today with all intentions of spreading love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice.
All right, Islam, Moors, peace and love, everybody. We're here. We're getting started. We're speaking on Moorish American relationships, speaking on marriage, speaking on how important it is. We got some statistics up here. This website says blackdemographics.com. What does it say on here? It says that marriage statistics by race, it's got so-called black people, Asiatics, as the least likely to be married. All right. And the most likely to have never been married. Okay, it says they're the least likely, the least married of any major racial ethnic group in America. And that's according to the census data, saying 30% of African Americans were married compared to 43% of Hispanics, 52% of whites, and 58% of Asians. Also, 50% of African Americans have never been married. 50% never been married compared to 28% of whites. Okay. And it's got this going, and it's if you look at this, what it's really showing is it's making it appear that marriage isn't even really important to us. Like, we don't even really see the importance of this institution in our lives. We're not really pushing for it, you know? And I mean, it's troubling. It's troubling, Morris. It's really troubling. And I know, a lot of people may not even see why this is important. But let me go to our instructions, our divine instructions from the prophet. All right, speaking about the prophet, Noble Drew Ali. And this is something that, theoretically should be applying to all of us, right? All of us, especially everybody who considers themselves a Moorish American. But, we never know where anybody's at, because people have different types of influences, right? You're coming into this information from all these other places. So some people may not even know why the prophet is important. But we can touch on that. But just looking at this is the Holy Koran of the Moorish Science Temple of America. In here, you have divine instructions for all young men, right? So it says here, holy instruction and warning for all young men. That's in chapter 20. Then chapter 21, marriage instructions for man and wife from the noble prophet. Then we have duty of a husband, holy instructions for thy children, the obedience of children towards their father. And then the holy covenant of the Asiatic nation. And if you're just looking at the chapters, this would imply that getting that family in order, then you come into the holy covenant. But, people, we're not understanding this because we're coming from dysfunction. Even some of us who, have our parents in our life, both parents, for the most part, people it up and keep it. So most have good example to even be a good man, a good woman, a good husband, a good wife, to be trustworthy and loyal and supportive and all of these things. Okay. And so we're coming from dysfunction, and we don't even know how to build a powerful structure. And that's why we're seeing those statistics that are saying we're at the bottom. We're the least likely to get married. We're the least likely to have ever even been married in our lives. That's going across all ages. Okay. And when you look at this, the holy instructions and warnings for all men. All right. And these are all divine instructions. Everything in the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America, we're dealing with divine instructions. When you go in there, we're getting instruction on what to do. Beware, young men, beware of the allurements of wantonness, and let not the harlot tempt thee to excess in her delights. But that's the exact opposite, right, of what the music is telling you. This says, beware, young man, beware of all the allurements of wantonness, and let not the harlot tempt thee to excess in her delights. But isn't that what pop culture is teaching you to do, right? Excess in her delights. Whoa, Morris, not sure what happened there. We just left the studio, but we back. So just going back to this, isn't everything like in pop culture, the music, the movies, all this stuff aimed at so-called black people, isn't all of that stuff teaching us to excess in her delights? Right, to the point where women are going along with this, getting breast implants and all this stuff, butt implants, doing all of this stuff to try to make themselves sexually appealing. That's what it's all about. Okay, I mean, Cardi B is just like the easiest one to go to, but if you look at Cardi B, look at Meg the Stallion, right? It's all just appealing to sexuality excess, having no control. You don't need no physical control. Just be wild. Just try to sleep with everyone. Who cares if you get a female pregnant, and have a child out of wedlock with somebody that you don't even like. And now she's like got you on child support and you can't see the child. And that's not going to affect the child in any kind of negative way, right? That's a great way to build a civilization, to build a nation, right? And so you got the child with the woman because you just like her butt or something. You just like her body parts. And so now you're starting a family with this person, even though y'all not really going to be together, building as a family, right? So this is the type of craziness that's pushed at us. So women, yeah, you could be out here twerking. You could be just showing your body out. Just you could even put all plastic and injections and all of this stuff that's horrible for you. That has like all types of terrible side effects. You could do all of that to mess your body up to try to be more sexually appealing. Okay, and then teach this to your daughters too. And then we're not even talking about all this, the gender confusion and all this other craziness that's coming in. But this is what's being pushed, let them know you gonna, that's how you get down. Women, stick your tongue out. Stick your tongue out in every picture or stick your middle finger up or turn around and show your backside, right? That's what it's all about. Okay, and so this is not the way to build a nation. This is terrible. This is against our divine instructions. Islamism, brother G Bay. So this is against our divine instructions. So if we're going along with this culture, we're heading to you're heading to destruction and you're heading to the wrath, which is sure to come. All right, you're not gonna miss this hellfire, which is here. You're suffering. We're suffering the hellfire when you make a child with somebody just because you like the body parts, and then they making your life hell. And they're not just making your life hell, because also making hell for that child who has to come up now without the father, whose mom is on Instagram and sleeping around and doing things that are shameful, right? And so it's just creating a self-perpetuating situation where we're creating more slaves for the system and where you'll never be in power. Someone will always be over you. Just show how you get down. You're a freak, right? This is not the way to be. And so let's go back to our divine instructions. They keep us away from all of these traps that are set up to stop you from progressing. All right. So this is why we have the divine instructions, and why when we apply to them, like it's not boring, played out or old fashioned, like if you follow these divine instructions, you won't get caught up in any of that. So there's, when you go to the Quran, there's instructions. These are letting you know like what to really look for in women, right? To raise your thoughts up to infinite wisdom, to raise your vibration up to your higher self, so that you're not, choosing a mate, right, based off of sexual gratification, because that's all lower self. Okay, all lower self. And so when you go to there and you read this, then we have marriage instructions, and it's for man and wife, not non-binary and pansexual and all this other confusion, craziness. But it's not just coming from nowhere. So the confusion, the craziness, this isn't to make anyone feel bad. Someone that's watching this may consider themselves a Moor and might be, homosexual or whatever. It's like, I don't care. Nobody's attacking you. If anyone feels like they're under attack, there's a problem, a serious problem, because there's an agenda. Now we're going to speak about this in this video, but there's an agenda that's been at play. And the people who are pushing this agenda have unlimited resources. They have billions and trillions of dollars. How many of you know they've been putting atrazine in the water for a long time, and that it has an effect on humans? What does it do to humans? We don't know, because they won't allow anyone to do a complete study on it. But we do know that this brother, who's still a tenured professor at UC Berkeley, right? He's a chemist. That he ran the test on frogs, and that he saw that the atrazine using a smaller amount of atrazine than is allowed in water, in the water supply, he found that this caused the frogs to turn homosexual and even changed their gender. Okay? It wreaks havoc with the sex lives of adult male frogs, emasculating 3/4 of them, right? Completely emasculating 3/4 of them and turning 1 in 10 into females. And he did this, and he couldn't even get the backing, to complete the research, as it says here in this New Yorker article. Right? He's a chemist at UC Berkeley. He said that the chemical was harmful, and then the maker of the chemical started pursuing him. They started coming at him to shut it down. Okay? But they still can't take away the research. The research is still published, UC Berkeley, because he's tenured. They can't fact check this and prove that it's not right, because it's real. This is real. They're just not going to show what it can do to humans. Okay? So people who are, LGBTQ and all that stuff, they don't realize there's an agenda to make you like this, right? It doesn't turn everyone homosexual, but it turns some of them, and it even turns some of them into transgender, to have this confused mindset. And they've been doing it to you all your life, been doing it to us all our lives. And so then, in light of that, it's not confusing then that you got these Janelle Monáes now coming out to let everyone know that she's now they. Right? It says, it's so stupid. It says in the article, Monet confirms that they're non-binary. Like, you can't even say she anymore. Like, get the hell out of here. But this person is not in control of anything. She's just a cog in the system going along with the program. She's not conscious. Just going along with the program. All right. That's it. Going along, not realizing or letting anyone know, hey, they've been putting this stuff in our water supply, and we don't even know what it does to us, but we know that it actually changes the sexual orientation of creatures, real beings, and even some of it turns them all the way from male into female. That is crazy. And why is this allowed in the water supply? So people aren't thinking about that. So that's a real issue that needs to be addressed, that isn't being addressed. Okay? And so when you see all of these agendas and things, that has nothing to do with us. That's why in our Holy Koran at the Moorish Science Temple of America, it has marriage instructions for man and woman, because all of that other stuff, the non-binary, all of that other stuff, that's coming from genetic manipulation and things that people who don't have our best interests have been putting into our systems, into our community, into our water supply. All right. Into the air with the chemtrails. They've been doing this to us for the longest. And that's why I'm saying, Moors, you got to share this, because who else is going to speak on this? Right. But they've been doing this for the longest. So we don't get caught up in all of that stuff. Right. We have marriage instructions for man and wife from the noble prophet. And this is of the utmost importance to us, that we clean ourselves up and be the best version of ourselves possible. And you can't say that you're a Moor and you don't even think this is important. Right? Because we hear people, smart, dumb people that think they're conscious, saying all types of stuff. And it's like, no, you don't get it. All right, but I have something for you. Like I was saying, there's a discussion between my wife and I on this topic, and I really think this will be of interest to all of us. So Moors, tune in. And on that note, I'm going to go ahead and start this clip. Everybody, though, make sure you click like and share. All right. All right, peace. Just wanted to talk about Moorish relationships and just some of the things that we see as a couple that's been together for, 21 years now? 21, 22 years, been married for, in August it'll be 20 years married. And so, and to speak on that, like, it's really doesn't make sense for us to even be together because we both, have broken homes where the parents couldn't stay together, right? Split up, go their separate ways, and just different things where it's like nobody was teaching us like how to be good husband and wife and stuff like that. Maybe have learned it from other people, may have picked it, but we didn't have that like growing up. Like this is what you do, and just or showing you is the best way to teach.
We didn't have
so
that.
We didn't have that.
Example.
We didn't have
there was no model example.
So it didn't really make sense. So I can relate to where everyone's coming from. She can relate to where everyone's coming from, especially the people whose parents broke up or never got married, right? So we can understand where people's coming from, and so just wanted to speak because it's like. Just to keep it real and not to offend anyone, don't want to sound like I'm trying to be mean or trying to pick on people, so don't take it like that. But at the end of the day, like, Moors are supposed to be married. That's why we have marriage obligated. We have marriage instructions between man and woman, not between women and women or men and men or non-binaries and all this other stuff that's going on. It's just simple man and woman because that's in our freaking DNA. How do we come into the world? We don't come in between all these other things. It comes in between a man and a woman. And that's like, probably universal because you see it across the spectrum. All the animals, the humans, this is how we procreate.
How about the people who say, well, that stuff is outdated. We live in different times now. People are evolving. There are other aspects of life and being at play. Because we see that, especially with the Janelle Monáe post that has recently been flying around the so-called African-American Black community. I like to call us the Asiatic community or the Moorish community. And it's the women. It's our women, it's our sisters who's like in agreement to this because they've been conditioned and they feel some type of way. But what they do not understand is the agendas that are at play here, because there's agendas to depopulate, right? There's agendas to exterminate us, especially the ones that are conscious, especially the ones that are waking up and saying, we need to be more serious. We need to understand nationality. We need to get into our ancient spiritual practices. We need to learn to love instead of hate so that we can progress and elevate our communities, our families, ourselves, okay? Now, you already know there's going to be an attack on. We were in excellence. Who are excellent is going to have to fall, okay? You have to understand the rise and the fall. It's science. The yin and the yang is always going to be one on top and one on the bottom, no matter what, because this is the third dimensional realm, and this is how it works. We have to eat or be eaten. But when you are connected spiritually and understanding that we are one and that we must agree and understand each other's position, okay? We do not learn the science of position, polarity, gender, right? We don't understand these things. So definitely pick up a book called The Kabbalion. That's a good start to understand how every cause have an effect, okay? And vice versa, just to throw an example out there. But back to what we were saying, we don't get taught the positions. We do not understand our place as men and women standing upright, independent, and fearless in who we are, in the oneness with our God. And there's no spook God, the God within us. We are the changers. We are the change makers. And so, yes, there are always agendas to be pushed on us to derail us from this perfect train of thought, this oneness, this peace. You know, they want us to live in chaos, so we are discombobulated and confused and don't know why we feel like we feel. And then boom, they're throwing signals at you. Boom, they're throwing subliminals at you. Boom, they're throwing visuals at you. They're making it look cool. It's the in thing. It's the fads. And the weak minded is always going to follow these things, these fads, the new wave. They're always going to.
They're trying every weak mind to overthrow.
That's right.
Right. I want to just say one thing about that too. Speaking about the universal laws, is she just said the universal laws, right? So for people who think they're smart, because like if you listen, like the sister was saying, man, if you look at what what Janelle Monáe is saying about non-binary, it sounds good. It doesn't sound bad when she said, I don't see myself as a woman. I feel all my energy. I feel God is so much bigger than he or she. I feel, I am everything. There's nothing wrong with that, right? I mean, we know that there's also an agenda, right? That is not being covered, right? So she's not talking about that, but we are, okay? And so, man, look, gender is a universal law. It's a universal law. So how are you going to go against the universe? All right? For people that don't know, like the sister was saying, look up the Kabbalion. You can download the PDF. You can get a book of the Kabbalion probably on Amazon for like $8. I'll put a link in the video description. Okay? You can get the Kabbalion and you can read about the Hermetic principles. All right? And this is ancient wisdom. All right? This is coming from Egypt, but in actuality, it extends even further beyond that. It goes even beyond Egypt. So there's 7 universal laws or principles, okay? And one of them is gender. And in reality, some of them are kind of the same thing because you have polarity and gender, all right? But I'm just saying this to say it's a universal law, okay? It's a universal law, and there's really no way around it, all right? And so, you got to think about that. The agenda that's being pushed to us is against universal law. It's against Allah. It's getting you out of order, out of rhythm. Okay? All right? And, I'm sure people have seen the yin and yang symbol before. That's like the Asian version, right? Or the Chinese version, okay, of this principle. But it's universal. Just saying that you can't escape it. It even extends beyond the physical body. Okay, as you see here in the yin and yang, it's showing the different polarities, the different way. You have gender in all aspects of physical creation and even in the spirit realm and even in the other planes of existence. You have night and day. You have dark and light, cold and warm, negative, positive, passive, active, female, male, solid, hollow. Okay, you have all of these different ways that it comes into play in the macrocosm and the microcosm. That means going within and looking out there. Okay, it's there regardless, and you can't escape it. But they want to get this escapism with people thinking, oh, I don't know, I'm confused. And I'm not trying to belittle people who are who are suffering through these ordeals, because you got to think, we've been getting pumped with these drugs and things for so long, and it's so bad to the point where, even when a scientist is doing tests on the drugs and he's using a smaller amount than is allowed in our water system, and it's wreaking havoc on the sex lives of the adult male frogs, emasculating 3/4 of them and turning 1 in 10 into females. So this is going on. And so people are coming up and saying that they're born like this, and it's understandable why, because this is pumped into their parents, and now it's pumped into them. And so even if you are just going off of the genetics of your parents, you've inherited this stuff now. It's now part of who you are. Okay? So it's not natural, and it's not something that's just great and wonderful and spiritual. No, you're twisting that to fit your agenda. Okay, trying to make this appealing to people, just like they put it in the cartoons and the children's programming now. Okay, but you can't escape that. Gender is a universal law. It's universal. So you think you're greater than your universe and Allah and all of this stuff, right? No, that's ridiculous. But let's go back into here. I'm gonna go ahead and let me back off more, but make sure you click like and share. All right, let's hang on, Morris. All right, don't go anywhere. Here we are.
That's right.
But if you don't have the foundation, then it's understood. You don't even know where to build from.
You have no idea who you are and where to start your build. So you all in everybody else's buildings and everybody else's organizations, you do not even understand that you have your own and you have your own work to do. Because you think that you're accepted until they get mad at you and call you a Negro, disrespect you, lynch you, make you disappear by accident at the party, you die, everybody else is cool, you know? It's like, look, this is serious. This is, yes, this is happening, it has happened, and it will continue to happen.
The slumber party, adult slumber party,
yes.
Co-ed, like that's weird. That stuff, we don't do stuff like that unless we trying to be new. You're trying to be a new Negro. We don't do, but she's there with all these European couples, and she just happened to fall and break her neck and die.
Yep.
And
it was an accident. Nobody got in trouble. No one's gonna get in trouble.
You can't do all this new stuff that you were saying, but you know.
That sister was not protected, okay? She was not in her right state of mind. It's a mind state that we have to get into to understand what is happening to us and where we need to be. It's real. And you know, like I said, her post, Janelle Monáe's post says she's non-binary, she doesn't feel like a woman or whatever. That's not word for word, but that is the gist of it. And spiritually, I see what message she's fucking trying to convey. But me knowing what I know, and it's like, oh, look at what they're pumping, and then look at the comments. It's like, okay, this is not, our people are not ready for that spiritual message because they're buying into the whole trap and the agenda that's being played. Like I said, to depopulate the earth. That's a huge agenda, right? Being exterminated, kill all the black babies. No black families are needed, you know, when you're in these categories. There's no man, woman, and child. There's no nuclear family. You know, matter of fact, the nuclear family is being attacked. It's like, that's not even right anymore. That's a bad thing because Peter and Tom can't have a nuclear family.
Men,
right?
Men are bad.
Right? It's like, no.
Boy needs to be killed.
There needs to be a balance. There needs to be a balance. It needs to be a balance of feminine and masculine to create the child, the holy seed, okay? The royal seed needs to be created. And if the seed is tainted, then you get the marks, the blemishes, you know, the nicknames, Negro, black, colored, thief, criminal, bad people, the bad doll. You all heard about the doll test. The child is picking the white doll as the beautiful doll and the good doll. And the black doll, so-called black doll, is being listed as the bad doll, the ugly doll, okay? Like, this is all psychology, family. This is psychology. It's psychologically, strategically put on us at early ages so that we can grow into the self-hate and the miseducation so that we can fall right into the slots of these agendas that are put here for us to follow because it's all part of the trap. It's a trap, okay? and ways to guard our minds mentally, physically, everything. Ways to guard ourselves and our children and our family is to educate, is to have conversations, is to read, research, and go back to the ways of our ancient forefathers, divine creeds and principles, because it is about peace. It is about love, loving ourselves, having pride for who we are. You cannot do that if you're falling up under these agendas. You can't do those things. So there's no way you're going to be excellent and great. There's no way that you are fulfilling your desire, your destiny, okay? Your assignment. We are all here on assignment, right? We all have a job to do. And the most important part of that assignment is to find your truth, to find who you are in this world and play your position. Our positions are not being played because we are disconnected. We do not know who we are. We are not who we think we are. You know, we're in this education system. We were grown from a place of lack and fear. We were raised on survival mode. You cannot be great. You cannot reach your potential spiritually, mentally, or physically under those pressures, right? And we are so resilient that we still show excellence through all of that. We still show strength. But a few of us here and there is not good enough. There has to be more of us. We have to be more. We have to learn more. We have to do more. And that is the message, the ultimate message, that we have to be more than what they say we are, than these categories. People, you know, the millennials, they like to put us in these categories of millennials. You know, we're lazy. We don't like to do things. We don't like to follow, you know, instructions. We like to come in because we know so much, and we act like we're privileged. And it's like, yeah, we feel like that because our adults, our leaders have failed us. You know, we feel like we have to come in and grab the ball because the plays have been whack. We weren't taught, you know, and it's like, this is part of the evolution. This is part of the spiritual awakening. Something is missing and we want to know what it is and why it is. So ask questions. It's so important for us to understand these things.
Yeah, you know, I want to say something to you saying like about the assignments. It's like, that's true. We all have assignments, and like the assignments you're talking about is in alignment with spirit, which means you have to align with your higher self to do what your higher purpose is. But there's all coming to when you incarnate body, right? The low has time, and most of us, 90-something% of us, maybe even more than that, get caught up in that purpose, the lower purpose, gratifying desires, and just get caught up in this cycle. And that's why life is always up and down. Okay, and so there's a battle that everyone must overcome when they come into here. And the things that we see on the media, they're promoting, everything's promoting the lower self so that you can be stuck in this carnal mind state. And when you see people talking about that Janelle Monáe thing, it's like, okay, first she came out as pansexual, and it's like, who cares? Then she had to come out as recently as non-binary. And I saw somebody supposed to be conscious sharing the article talking about, yeah, like what you were saying, this is freedom. And I get it, I know where you're coming from, but here's the thing. You don't realize there's an agenda. Right. If you really think these celebrities are just honest and just telling how they feel, they're not getting paid, aligning themselves with the LGBT community, doing things to further their career, you don't know how it works.
all of that stuff is scripted. There's an agenda behind this stuff. Like, it's not a coincidence that this Black Lives Matter thing is like financed. They got billionaire George Soros and probably others who are behind it. They're putting money into it. So all this money that they're generating, plus they're getting donations, right? It's coming in and it's doing what? They're not getting laws changed. They're not really doing anything to further, right, to protect us or whatever their purpose was. But they just happen to make sure that their leadership, they're all gay. They're all LGBTQ. They're all pansexual and all this crap. And then they have a mission statement that says that they're against the heteronormal, that they're pushing this. Why is this a part of your mission? What does that have to do with ending police brutality against Black people? That's literally a part of their mission statement. And then you look and you see that they had something that they actually took down on their website because they started to catch flack for it, was saying that they're against the family. They're against the family. They didn't even hide that. They had contempt for the family, the nuclear family. They want to challenge that. And so this is something that's well funded, that's strictly aimed at the so-called Black community, and they got millions of dollars behind it and got European billionaires that look like the Emperor from Star Wars financing it. And it's about attacking the family, shutting that down, pushing the LGBTQ agenda. And then you find out that, hey, they got this stuff called atrazine that's in our water, and that they know, like scientists who weren't getting paid to do this, and Cal Berkeley's a professor, still tenured professor, actually found out that this thing was turning frogs gay, and that it actually was changing their DNA because some of them actually turned into females.
Okay, and on that note, it's a chemical warfare to push these agendas. Like, there's so many wheels in motion when we come to understand what's being done to the people. And it's not only one people, it's the whole population of the world in general. And then there's certain ones that are targeted super hard.
And so if you don't understand what that means, this guy is a professor, he's a scientist, a chemist, and he's seeing that this turns the frogs gay, and then it even turns some of them all the way into females. And he's testing it at levels that's less than what they allow in our water. And he's trying to say, well, we need to test this further. And there's nobody, the university, everyone's shutting it down. They couldn't shut down his research because he's a tenured professor, meaning anyone tries to attack what he's doing, he got the science to back it up. So it's true. And it's still out there. You can see it. They can't hide that. But they made sure that they didn't look any further into that. That means that the people who are doing this, why is this even in our water? It means that it goes up high. Okay? You're talking about governors. You're talking about presidents. You're talking about billionaires. This is an agenda. And so they're putting it in the food and the water. And no, it can't affect everybody to that extreme, but it's going to affect the amount of the population. Mm-hmm. So this fits into an agenda. Then you find out there's the guidestones, the Georgia guidestones, which you can go and see that they carved out of stone, and they, these things weigh tons, and they put them in 8 languages, and they say that they have to reduce the population. So there's an agenda, and they have resources. It's a monument. So they have resources. The people that are doing this, they can build that, that are about depopulating the earth, and they're about pushing these agendas. So it doesn't matter what you think. If you see this, you hear celebrity or, Will Smith slapped Chris Rock, and you're thinking this is really about them, getting mad about what he said to his wife. You don't realize there's something bigger at play. Mm-hmm. That's the type of chatter that we shouldn't even entertain. It goes over your head. So the people who are really promoting this stuff have resources, and they can get what they want done. And so it's not about Janelle Monáe personally wanting to be non-binary. No, she's going along with a program that has lots of money behind it and people behind it. And if you don't see that, you're not seeing the big picture. You're getting caught up. They put this stuff in the food and water. And so it affects people. And it even changes people's DNA to the point where they now they're confused about what gender they're supposed to be. Mm-hmm. And then if you're getting these receptors, these things that they're putting in the food and water for all of us, and it's still not affecting you, they got the cartoons and things now to and the children's programming to promote this agenda too, to try to activate that within your DNA, within your brain. Okay, so it's an agenda, and I mean, we got the video on here too, on the same channel, where the lady who's the executive producer at Disney talking about how she's pushing her not so secret LGBTQ agenda, and putting it in everything, the shows and the cartoons, everything aimed at children's programming.
Yes, and another thing, we're not teaching hate, or we're not dumping on the LGBTQ community. You know, we respect all people and the way that they choose to live, and all communities for real that are actually doing the work, you know, to better society, to better themselves, to better, you know what I'm saying? We're talking about the evil agendas that's being pushed through these communities.
It goes over your head.
We don't teach hate.
No one's attacking.
We don't hate nobody.
How could anyone see that as an attack, though? Because it's like you should want to know about this, regardless of what your sexual preference is. You should want to know what they're putting in your food and water, and what's allowed, and who's allowing this, and why. What's the point of the Food and Drug Administration in the government if they're allowing these chemicals to be in the water? How they get in there? It's not natural. And then why is the Food and Drug Administration, why are those things lumped in together?
Right. How
what does food and drugs have to do with each other? So they're letting you know food and drugs. Food and Drug Administration. They put the food and drugs, they put the drugs in the food, dude. And that's a known fact. So they let you know that these things are going on. Hey, we look the other way for certain things, all right, that are bad for you. Why? Because it fits into the agenda. And so everyone should want to know that, man. I don't care if you're gay or whatever. Like you're cool with them putting this stuff in the water. You're cool with them changing the structure and genetics of children.
And you know the struggle of the feeling of not understanding why you feel the way you feel. It's because the chemicals that was being pushed on us at early, you know, ages, and especially during our process of maturing and hitting puberty. You know, our hormones are raging already. And so you throw the right kind of chemicals in there, and boom, you're gonna get a mess.
And so this is an ongoing. So it goes above and beyond heads. But what I really wanted to talk about, though, was the relationship. So you have all of this stuff going on as if that wasn't enough, okay? But then going to the relationships, you know, there's a reason why, like in general, people, and especially the so-called African Americans, we'll say Asiatics, they feel like they can't be together, like they can't be married, they can't be in successful relationships. You see all types of people posting and stuff and saying this. And look, if we actually look at the numbers, you know, hopefully there is a decent size of a percentage of people that are married, right? Because I know the numbers aren't going to be what they promote, you know, in the media. They're gonna act like we just can't be together, and it's a bunch of, you know, dudes leaving their children behind, and we know that's not true. But still, you have a mentality that, you know, it can't work, you know, we can't be together. And let me tell you how crazy that is. All right, because people buy it in, and especially you people, you think you're smart, you know, you got this information, and you're thinking, well, times have changed, and you know, it's a new age, and you're hearing these fools talking about, you know, being like in these open relationships, all types of craziness. Like, why would you want to bring more chaos and insanity into your life when you're already toxic? You're already savage. You're already messed up.
And just to add to that, just looking at the marriage statistics, we're at the bottom already. So it's not like our problem is that we need to stop with this heteronormal, like Black Lives Matter says, right? We need to stop with this traditional marriage. That's the problem. Like that's we're already messed up. That's a vestige of slavery coming in, breaking up the family units, making it impossible for us to be together in a respectable, time-honored manner, in a divine manner. Right. So that's a vestige of slavery. OK, and even still, like if you go back to, I say 60 years, right? More of us were getting married. So it's been getting worse. All right. So we, even out of slavery, we had an understanding that, hey, we need to get together. We need to fix this. All right. Because they wouldn't let us get married. Right. They were breaking up the families. They're selling children off to other places. They doing terrible, heinous things to keep us from being together. And so now the smart dummies thinking, you going right along with that, thinking it's cool. We don't need to be together. That's played out. Like, look, we already in this place where there's a lack of us being married and raising our children together in the same household. And now you got all these lost souls out there, right? You got these lost souls out there that are so lost in the sauce, they don't even think it's important, right? Hang on. Okay, all right, here we go. All right. So, yeah, you got these people, like, who are lost in the sauce out here. And they out here just, promoting violence, black on black crime, just overt, just outright, just sexual deviancy. And it's all guns and drugs. And then some of them, like this dude, actually getting caught up in real life, killing somebody. Now, about to possibly get the death penalty or something like that, or life in prison. Okay. And so this is the problem. So, and this problem is not stemming from these people coming from, good, solid upbringings, having their mother and father in the picture. And he, like this, for example, this isn't somebody who was born from a mother and father who are married, and he just now, all he do is rap about guns and drugs. And then he's actually, facing time because he, killed some people. No, if you look at the little Wikipedia page, he was raised by what? Single mother. He does not even know who his father is. His mom was only 14 when she became pregnant with him. This is not the ideal situation. This is why you would then go to drugs and guns. This is why, gangs. This is why you would join the blood gang at a young age. And then just be rapping about crimes and then living that lifestyle. That's why, right? This is why he's on the remix to Suicidal with Juice WRLD, right? Suicidal, doing drugs, killing people. That's all it is. That's what it leads to. The broken home thing, that's what leads to it. So the people who are thinking like that Janelle Monáe crap, you think, oh, yeah, we need to get away from all that. Dude, we already are away from it. We are already farther away from it than anyone else. Look at the stats. The blue line, this is showing the percent married. We're at the bottom. Okay, look at the percent never married. We're at the bottom. We have way more than anyone else. Okay, and that's why then when you look at people like this, who's coming up in a messed up situation, right? And you see their biggest song is Murder on My Mind. Right?
After saving with
and this is ridiculous because this song got 502 million views. Almost 503 million. 503 million views. All right, so there's all these brain dead people who's listening to this mess. Because just the fact that you're listening to it means that you're entertained by this foolishness. You're bringing this stuff into your brain, right? So this is a problem, okay? And this from us is coming up with father that no, all right? Right? In order for you to have self-hate enough to want to kill your own people and to be popping pills and any kind of drug, anything's being promoted to you and to just be a straight demon out here about killing, right? In order for that to be a reality, it helps for you to come up in a broken home and especially to not even know your father. Okay, that's what leads to that type of situation. That's what will have murder on the mind and drugs on the mind and all of that stuff. Okay, that's where it's coming from. So that's the real problem. So anybody thinking you smart, talking about we need to get away from that stuff, dude, we already away from it. We're an example for everyone else why you shouldn't go this far away from it. And on that note, let's get back to this. But everybody, make sure you hit like and share.
And it's not trying to make nobody feel bad, but it's the truth. We're already like that out the gate because of how we came up.
Yep.
You didn't have a good enough culture and structure. If you had religion, more than likely you had the religion of the Europeans that was passed on to you
through slavery.
Right? If you were Baptist or any of those denominations, guess what? This didn't come from our people. These came from a European perspective. That's why, we shouldn't really be in those settings, right? So we're getting that, and it wasn't good enough for them, and definitely ain't good enough for us. Okay? But just going back to it, right? What we get, when you look at the movies, right? I was talking to the wife about this brown sugar movie. Remember back in the day, they were making a big deal about all the people were hyped because we love to see us in the movies, in the films, on the big screen. And so people go in thinking it's a black love story. And, you go and you see the people in there can't even be together. And it was like that in Love and Basketball too. There's supposed to be another one. Great black love story, Asiatic love. You go in there, you got this couple who are like, they loved each other from childhood. Their families, knew each other, loved each other. They care about each other. They both love basketball, and they can't be together. This is the story. And if you really pay attention, this is like almost always the story. Okay? Always the story. They love each other. They care about each other. Or they're such a great fit, but they can't be together. For some stupid reason. Just can't be together. Can't work it out. Makes no sense. Okay? And so this is what we get. And people in turn, and a lot of these things are written by Asiatic people. So you can't even just put that off on other people. We buy into it. And people actually practice this in real life. We're like, for some reason, we just can't work it out. We can't be together. Okay? And so you have to understand that this is a mindset that has been programmed into us. All right? And this has been ongoing for a long time now. It originated from people from outside of our community. They put this stigma on us and forced it on us so that our family units will break down. Once you break down the family, you're vulnerable. Everybody's vulnerable. And that opens you up now to outside influence and all of these other things that will be to your detriment. That's what it was all about. But here's the thing, right? We don't realize that that's a savage Negro mindset. All right, there's a reason why in the Moorish Temple of America, in the Holy Koran, we have marriage instructions between a man and a woman. We're not supposed to see our mates, our companions, as someone that we can't, get along with, that we'll never be able to work things out. We'll never be able to coexist in peace. We're not supposed to see them as our enemy that we're supposed to be battling with all the time. Okay? That's not how it's supposed to be. That's not the ideal.
And yes, when you're young, you're going to have issues. You're going to fight. You're going to argue. You're going to do dumb stuff. But you're supposed to mature. You're supposed to learn together. You're supposed to grow together so that you can correct those behaviors, because those behaviors come from us not having examples that was good enough to make impression on us to be better people, period.
And we're not seeing ourselves as valuable, and what we have is valuable. If something's valuable, you're going to fight for it. You're going to, you're not going to want it to just let it go just on a whim. Because people now, somebody make you mad, somebody do something you don't like, you just, okay, done, right? Just walk away, leave them, forget them, forget that fool, right? One of my friends used to say, like, he said, the dudes seek out females that they're not even attracted to, so that they feel like they can walk away from her easy. They don't even feel like fighting for her, and that's crazy. That is crazy. And I know that that's true, because I know people that thought like that, And this is the thing, like we're supposed to, to understand how important we are, how important our family is, our household, and to understand that this is where the nation begins and ends, right? So it is worth fighting over. We don't see a lot of us don't see each other like that. And then on the top of that, you have all these outside influences getting you in all these directions. So then here comes the so-called conscious Negroes with the other agendas, like, oh, we're going to have threesome, we're going to have open relationships and all this other foolishness. And you're bringing this to people who are savage, who don't even really love themselves, who aren't even really in a position to handle that type of craziness. And so it's just more chaos and confusion. And it's not working out. And a lot of the people that were bringing it, like these people, like this dude who, well, you know, I'm not even going to mention the name, but one of these dudes, fake conscious dudes, who's like getting arrested, right? Maybe that'll let you know who he was. Dude got arrested. And he was pushing that, promoting that, having all these crazy things going on in the household. And if you paid attention to him, it just got crazier and crazier and weirder and weirder. And now the fool, well, actually, there's more than one of them. Now they in legal trouble, right? And so I'm telling you that this is not going to save you, right? We have simple divine instructions in the Quran, and it's in there for a reason. In the Quran of the Moorish Temple of America, just keep it simple. Man and woman, we're supposed to be able to get along. If you can't get along with your companion, right, male or female, it's not because all the black men, all the black women, you know, are messed up. It's because of where you're at mentally. It's always us. We're always supposed to look at ourselves. All right. That's not where the battle occurs outside with the, you know, opposite sex. The actual battle is between the lower and higher self. And it's only a battle because when Allah created, you know, man, he eventually fell asleep and woke up in his own creation. And so since you don't know that you're the creator, right, as you know, incarnated as you, that's why it's a battle, because this carnal nature is strong. It's been running the show for the longest. And so now you must wake up and you must learn how to subdue this. That's where the battle is. And so with the relationship structure, now you have all these so-called smart relationship experts that don't even have healthy relationships coming out telling you what to do. And most of them are pumping the vibe. All the black men, you know, they're all bad. Y'all should date outside your race or whatever. And then you got the toxic masculinity. And then you got the dudes acting like they smart, telling the men the same thing. Oh, you need to go to these other countries to get women. And it's stupid. It's stupid. That's the most basic, dumbest advice. It's savage advice. That's advice coming from someone who's weak-minded and you know, doesn't even understand their higher nature, right? How are you gonna act like you can't get along with your own sisters, your own mother, right? So these are your own people, but you got to go somewhere else. Oh, that's stupid.
But going somewhere else, that doesn't solve anything, because we know a lot of people who went to other countries and got with these women, and boom, same things. Because guess what? The same agendas are being pushed to them as well. And they have a culture that they grew up in. And, you know, men are supposed to act a certain way towards women. And when you coming from over here, all you got is the money, right? All you got is the money. So that's going to attract them, because you got something that they're like, oh, you could take care of me. But after spending time with you and seeing your mind state, bro, you just a step stool. They're going to come over here with you, start a family, and bounce as soon as they're able to.
You can't escape you. That's why, like, Halle Berry, you know, she, like, I guess said she was done dating Asiatic men, and she started dating, you know, Europeans, and she's having the same problems. She had freaking baby daddies. You know, she got European baby daddies, and they fighting and all this stupid mess. So it's like, you can't escape you. You can't escape you. You are the one that needs to work on yourself, right? It's never the outside world or all these people are messed up except for you. No, that doesn't even make sense. It's always you. And so anything, you know, promoting discord and not actually encouraging us to work on ourselves, you know, and to stop running away from the problems. You know, if you really sit back and look at things, anything that's promoting discord and not getting to the real root, which is always within, it's not helping you. It's to your detriment. And so this is the reason why this type of agendas are promoted to us. And that whole Janelle Monáe thing, non-binary, that's just more chaos and confusion. That's the last thing anyone needs right now. And I know this isn't going to reach everyone. Some people, you know, get caught up in the agenda so much that you can't even hear this message. And I mean, hey, you know, everybody's not going to get it. That's why the Georgia Guidestones are there, and they say they have to reduce the population from 7 billion to like 500 million. Okay, people are just gonna have to get destroyed, and that is what it is, and that's why so many are getting caught up in it. And but I really just wanted to hit on this because, especially if you consider yourself a Moorish American, you need to understand that there's an agenda, and it goes against our divine instructions. So if you're going to come into our holy covenant with Allah, a divine covenant, you need to understand you can't be out here pushing this, oh, we can't get along crap. You can't be out here thinking it's cool to not be married or to be out here just trying to run through as many females as possible. Like, bro, that's not what a Moorish American Muslim does. What are you doing? Right? Right? You can't be out here thinking like that. Ladies, right? You can't be out here thinking like that. You have to raise it up. And you definitely can't be foolish enough to think we can't get along.
And stop buying into the artificial intelligence. And I don't mean the robots. I'm talking about the fake education that you civilizing yourself in and is bringing you down. You know, like you see the Kardashians on TV and all the stuff that's being flashed to us to look a certain way, you know, to live this certain lifestyle that is not practical for anybody.
Yeah.
Okay? Nobody. No, you shouldn't go get your, body enhanced and walk around in full face makeup and hair weaves and every second of your life. That is crazy. Okay? There are people walking around here having children, and I talk to the men and they're like, they don't even understand like what their children are going to look like with this person because they don't really know what this person looks like in real life. That is crazy. Okay? Stop it. Put the drugs down. Stop partying. Stop celebrating failure. Okay? Stop drinking. Stop everything that is harmful to your body and your soul and yourself. Like, stop it. You're hurting your seeds.
Yeah, like being non-binary is not going to fix all that shit. Excuse my language. It's not going to fix that. That's where the real problems are. And you have to work on yourself. We all do. And all of this stuff is just confusion. It's just chaos and confusion. And, this message is just, especially for the Moors, man, we can't be getting caught up in this. We're supposed to know better. All right. None of the Moors should be against marriage or thinking that it's not possible or trying to look for all this extra stupid, foolish, all these extra measures, thinking that that's going to work. That's not what the prophet brought for us. It's
and one other reason why we're sharing this and why we're both speaking is because, like I was saying earlier, my wife and I have been together for about 22 years. We've been married in August, it'll be 20 years. And in nigga years, that's like being married for 70 years. Okay. And forgive me, for my ignorance, but I'm trying to explain this in a way that we can all understand. Like, that's for real. That's like being married longer than most everybody listening to this has been alive. Okay. So 20 years married in nigga years is like 70 years of life. Okay. And we're sharing this, not coming it's people like we all high and mighty. We didn't have parents my parents didn't even get married. Her parents didn't stay married that long. We didn't have good examples. People even around us, other people couldn't give it good advice. We saw the worst and we had to build it on our own and make things better. And these divine instructions from the marriage between, we didn't divine guidance. We came on as adults. Okay. And so to ignore this, it would be foolish, right? Because you will be passing down a legacy of slavery, a legacy of defeat, and just losing to the next generation, right? Not winning, not being at the top, not being in control of your own neighborhood, your own resources. It will be passing that on because you can't skip over the family unit. That has to be locked tight. So if you ask me, there's no reason anyone should be trying to position themselves as some type of leader within the temple if they don't have this measure. They don't really follow the prophet. If they not, married, why are you even in leadership? I don't care who gets offended because, like, man, the Nation of Islam running circles around the Moors because they're going to take this seriously. Their ministers are going to understand you're supposed to be married. And if you're not, and somebody pulling you to the side, they ain't going to get all sensitive about it. Man, why you bothering me, man? Well, it won't be no ministers if we got to be married. Like, get out of here. That's weak. They wouldn't do that. The nation, they just going to step up to the plate and do it. And that's why the Sunni Muslims and all the other sects, they will be running circles around you because their imams are supposed to be married. And if one of them isn't, and the other Muslim ministers get at him about that, like, why haven't you chosen a wife? He's going to do one of two things. He's either going to talk to that woman maybe that he's been, sleeping with out of wedlock and make it official and make it real and get married, or he's going to feel pressure to step down because he's not living up to the standard. Okay, so it's only the Moors that want to lower it, want to lower the standard. The prophet said you're not supposed to be out here doing anything that would be an embarrassment to the temple. You're not supposed, he said this specifically, you're not supposed to be out there getting intoxicated and doing drugs. So it's only the Moors who would want to lower the standard. Now, the Nation of Islam, they'll step up to it. Not saying that they're perfect, but the ministers will be like, nah, I can't do that. Now I can't smoke that weed. I can't get drunk with you. Okay. But who will be cool with it? The church. We seen ministers in there getting drunk, drinking in the club, don't even feel ashamed. Right. And the Moors, of course, don't care. You're going to smoke that blunt no matter what. You get drunk and get behind the wheel and drive. You don't care. Right. But, everyone else who's serious, they take themselves seriously and they going to hold to it. And it goes the same with marriage. And you want to, some want to play around with this because they treat it just like church because they're nigger Moors. And they're bringing that same mentality into this. There's something that's divine and you can't do that. This is what we've seen all our life, this Negro mentality. We've seen that and we know it intimately. And it's a loser mentality and it will never work. We've seen it. That's all we know. We had to come into something better. And that's what all of us are supposed to be doing when you realize you're more. We man, all our life, this is all we see, from the family, parents, everyone couldn't give, good advice and real wisdom on how to uphold the family, keep a strong structure together, had to figure it out on our own. And I'm saying this just to say that, we have divine instructions that will bring you into the Holy Covenant. You don't have to figure it all out on your own. All we have to do is stay in alignment with that. So, for those that want to, sidestep it, only thing they're stepping into is the hellfire. And that hellfire is not some mystical place where you're going to be getting tortured after you die. It's hell right now in your life, right? It's hell called child support and all of this other stuff that you don't like. Right, it's STDs and all the other foolishness that comes around from playing these games. Right, you want to come into the divine covenant. You can't pick and choose what you're gonna do. Like I've seen this with the church, man. I know from being in the church with my uncle, right, and we sitting in there, and our cousins are the ones in leadership in the church. And they got, their wives there and their girlfriends there, and everybody knows, and it's all cool because that's the games that get played in the black church. It's okay, right? All of that stuff goes. And so, just saying that failed us. It failed us, and that's why even though most of us are Christian, we have these terrible stats like was showing earlier where you see we're at the bottom when it comes to marriage rates, right? And there's a reason why that. We spoke on this stuff earlier in a different video on this channel speaking on Martin Luther King's legacy. And we show how the black church co-opted the abortion black agenda. They called it the Negro Project, right? Margaret Sanger Award was given out every year to a different Negro preacher for doing a good job of promoting the Negro Project, the agenda, which was to get us to take on abortions, to take on, the whole, what they call birth control thing. Take that into our communities. And so we're more from birth control to LGBTQ and all of this stuff. Okay. And they took it on, so it failed us. And that's why the marriage rates are so low. It doesn't work. And that's why, once again, we have marriage instructions between a man and a woman. And nobody can come and change that. Nobody can do anything to attack that. All right. And this is why Moors, you can't sidestep it. And if there's any of these things hurt your feelings or you feel like it's a personal attack, then that shows more on you than it does on me or anyone else. Because there's so many Moors that aren't living up to the bill, that this touches a lot of people. You got to get your mind right. You can't put that off on anyone else. It's on you. It's on each and every one of us. Not trying to act like we some kind of example. Just saying, man, it being married 20 years, you're looking around and there's like nobody. There might be a few, small, tiny, minuscule handful of people that can relate to you. Okay. And that's a problem. All right. Because as Moors, as Muslims, there's supposed to be way more of us who are committed, who see the family as important, and who value loyalty, being trustworthy, being loyal, being a stand-up person, being a man or a woman of your word, and family first. And so if that's not the characteristics and qualities that you have, you need to get away from me. I don't even want to know you, right? If it's not family first, if you're not loyal, trustworthy, upstanding, right? I don't even want to know you. And I don't care if you call yourself a Moor or not, or what you got this super duper title in leadership or what. If you're not upstanding about loyalty, family first, and these things, then you can't be trusted. It doesn't matter what you call yourself. And that's why it's at the bottom. And that's why I said the Nation of Islam ministers will run circles around the Moors, why everyone else, all of the other sects, the different Muslims, the Sunnis, the Shiites, whatever, they'll all run circles around it. They're not going to play games with that. And if their imams, their ministers are supposed to be married, they're going to be married. And if they have issues, with it, those people are going to step down. And so Moors, got to stop playing games with this. If you you can't pick and choose which parts of the divine instructions from the prophet you want to follow. All right. That's only going to lead to further misery for you. And that will only lead to you giving your children and your grandchildren more things to have to overcome. Because instead of stepping up to the plate and doing your work to be the best version of yourself, you pass down a burden. All right. That's a problem, Morris.
Marriage between a man and a woman, and you shouldn't be so foolish that you think that can't be done. It's not possible. That is the new mind state. That's the Western society mind state. And everything Western society does, you should be against it. You should be like, if you're really revolutionary, just like by nature, you should be like pushing all that aside. That might be something that helped us stay together and realize like what we have is, how powerful it is, because like, anything Western civilization is pumping to you, which is divorce, or that you shouldn't even be married. Right, you don't even need to get married. Man, just get on the system, right?
Talk about the women who are on purposely getting pregnant so that they could be on Section 8 or receive government aid. And they don't like the dude, don't want nothing to do with the dude, keeping the children away from the dude. Sometimes the dudes are not good dudes. Yeah, okay, because you found them in the streets and they street, okay? And they so lower self that they can't rise up and be what they supposed to be for their family. But the women are so toxic that they are literally trapping these dudes into having children with them so that they could be taken care of by the government. And it's like, bro, that is war, okay? That is an act of war.
Yeah, and you bringing children into this situation now. So like, you're not birthing a God. You're birthing somebody who's going to have to overcome all of this mess that you created for them, right? And this is why, like, we have all of these divine instructions. You're not supposed to be out here trying to sleep with everybody, just trying to find women with big, body parts, and like, women, whatever, looking for dudes, just with based off of how they dressed or, how they look, and all of this stupid foolishness that's getting pumped to us, right? Because it's all fake, right? So this is why, like, this should snap some people out of it. Say, like, this is why you should really look at the Quran and read these instructions and internalize it. This is where the problems are coming from. It's always that simple, okay? And we don't want to sentence our children to this stuff as well, because nobody else is really addressing this. Nobody. All right. And anyone that's promoting like I said before, that chaos and confusion is to your detriment. So all of these things are meant to make you fail, to make your future generations fail, to set you up so that you just be slaves working for someone else. All right, or dead, like to end your family line because you caught up in all the other confusion. Okay, but I could just say for one thing, just actually being with my wife, raising our children together, like it guarantees success, and the children confident coming up in a good environment where they're loved, like that is the best thing in the world. And in all honesty, we should all feel like that, especially once you've created a child. You should feel like, look, man, the ideal is to be with the mate and to be together and to be raising the children together, not in separate households. And where both parents, now they got two people that's looking out for them, that's there, that's protecting them. Not one dating, maybe the mom, she got the children and she got other dudes around the daughters and the daughters get molested or abused by somebody who's not even like that. Like, no. And vice versa. We should all see the ideal as being together and loving each other and loving the children and being together. That should be the ideal for all of us, because if you look at other people that actually have a culture, they actually know who they are, they don't start at slavery like Black people. You look at other people, that's their ideal. Even if they're not living up to it, that's what they want. They don't see nothing wrong with that. If they have a child out of wedlock, they don't want that. They want to be married, even if they aren't.
Right, because we used to come from a prestigious place with, elite families where we wanted our children to marry other families to keep the wealth and, to keep that in our family, in our legacy, in our bloodline. We're not thinking from a royal place anymore. Like my husband said, it's coming from a savage, program. It's coming from a lower self program. And so it's like, yeah, okay, we didn't know all this stuff. We didn't know all this stuff. So yeah, a lot of us made mistakes. Yeah, we're not with the father or the mothers of our children. Yes, okay, but it's not too late. You can co-create, you can co-parent, you can work from where you are to make it better right now, today. You don't have to keep going along in that cycle, because it's a downward spiral living like that in hate and miseducation. Educate yourselves. We're living in the information age. There's knowledge at your fingertips constantly. Instead, you use it to scroll and look at other people's lives and gossip about other people. You talk about celebrities, stuff that doesn't even concern you in any way, shape, or form. It doesn't make you a better person. Okay, they're giving you stupid perspectives that's not even it's not even viable to your life. So it's like, look, start from where you are, and every day make a conscious effort to be better than you were yesterday, to work harder, to protect, love, and educate your family, and to raise these children in the right direction. Let them know these agendas are going on. Let them know why they're feeling the way they're feeling, the chemicals that they're pumping, the subliminals, the school system, the curriculums, all these things, the religion, all these things play a major part in how our children see themselves and move through life. But if you put some kind of nourishment for their soul, you give them some background history of pride and where we come from, and start making spiritual connections to the Most High and to our ancient forefathers' divine creed and principles, and understand that we used to be a peaceful people and we used to live in love. Good actions, place earth with. We're connected to the planet. The planet is alive. We're connected to the planet. And if we go back to these things, then we can move forward as a better people with better minds and better mind state, so that we can really give this world what it's been needing. The world needs us, people. The world needs us to be who we were and better, because the reason why we came through these trials and tribulations is to make us stronger and better people today for the future. So yes, we started at the top. We got to the bottom. Now it's time to rise again with the knowledge of everything that we've been through. All right, pressure makes diamonds, but you actually have to have your pieces on the board in order to play the game. And that's all we're talking about here today, family.
Yeah, and like the sister said, it's on us to fix it. Nobody else can fix it. And maybe that's why we had to have our culture and identity stripped from us so that we could hit the bottom and actually have nothing except the Europeans' language, the Europeans' names, even the Europeans' religion and their mindset. That's all we had. All right. Nobody else has been through that to that extent. So that's how come people from India, Hindu people, whatever, can't come over here and save the world and change it so that they're not putting stuff in the food to turn us gay, to even make us confused to the point where we're non-binary and all this mess. Right. Nobody else is going to come and stop all the pollution and all of the destruction of the family households and all of that stuff, mass incarceration. Nobody else can do that. Maybe we had to get broken down to that level where we had nothing so that we fully understand how evil and messed up this system is. And so that's why you, especially as a Moorish American, you can't be so caught up that you don't see the agenda.
Yep.
We have to see it for what it really is. Maybe other people would be more naive than us because they don't see. They have a culture. They don't know what it's like to be stripped and have this is all that you have. And so now when we have a prophet who actually brings our divine instructions, actually returns our divine origin to us, we really appreciate it and respect it.
Yes.
And so that's why, like, Moorish Americans have to lead the way. You can't be out here and be Moorish American and you're confused and lost in the sauce and you going along with the program, because who else is going to change it? Who else is going to lead the way?
Amen. And also, you have to know that you are amazing. You are strong. You are beautiful. This stuff could not happen to any other people, and the people still walk with their head up high. You know, it was so much put on our people that we're supposed to be broken, and we're not even supposed to be even looking up in no way, shape, or form. But the fact that we're still here and we're still rising and we're still communicating and conscious and loving, you know, the fact that we're still raising children in the midst of all this craziness and chaos, and the children are thriving and, you know, understanding things that we wasn't even, you know, on our radar. You know, you are powerful. You are coming out of the hellfire for real, the phoenix rising. We are here, and it's time for us to really, like, show what we got, show where we come from, be the creators, just like our ancient ancestors were, the creators of all civilizations.
And like she said, it doesn't matter how bad your situation or past is, you can overcome it. No one else is going to do it. Other people wouldn't even be able to handle this. You have people of European descent killing themselves when they were watching the movie Avatar because it made them feel guilty. Okay? That's how weak everyone or other people are. All right? No one else could do this. Like, we didn't have good upbringings and all of this stuff. And we're coming up, not like we're the example or nothing, just saying we're just like you. We can all overcome it. And it doesn't matter what things are looking like. We have to overcome it because no one else can. And that's why whatever you've been through, that's why you've been through it. Because at the end of the day, Spirit knows that there's no weapon that's formed against you that can prosper. At the end of the day, it's all there to make you stronger. All right? Without a foe, a soldier never knows his strength. So everything is there to make you stronger. And all the experiences you've been through, they're just there to give you a more well-rounded perspective so that maybe you can relate to more people. All right? And on that note, make sure you click like and share this video. Peace and love.
All right, Islam, peace and love, Moors. Everybody, make sure you click like and share this video. Help to get this information out there. This is what, I mean, if you ask me, I think everybody should know this, especially everyone who considers himself Moorish American, this should be the common thought. This is in our Holy Quran for a reason. We can't skip over it. You can't. I've said this before, but this is important, man. You can't skip over the family. I don't know how is people out here thinking, you're going to be doing some work to build the nation and you're not building the family. That's not even realistic. You can't skip over that. So, and don't pass down a burden to the children. Don't put this burden on the children. End it with you. We came up in dysfunction and messed up situation. We ain't coming from some situation that's all pristine. We had unfavorable conditions. Okay. And I'm just saying this to say it's possible to turn that into something greater and positive. So that even if your situation is not ideal, you still passing down the mentality to do better to your child instead of making them think it's cool to pop pills. It's cool to do drugs and to kill and to be all about sex like an animal, like a beast. Okay? So, Morris, on that note, we got to get up out of here. Make sure y'all go to the 40daymastersystem.com. Get the 40-day master system where it will help you draw out the potential, the unlimited potential within you. And also go to mooresinamerica.com. Check out that website. Make sure that you saved it. If you haven't done so already, we also have the Patreon up. You can go to the link. It's on the YouTube channel. Patreon is Moors in America. We're also on anchor.fm for everyone that listens to the audio podcast. Make sure to follow us also on Instagram. You see the links on the screen. It's just Moors in America on Instagram. Also Moors in America on Facebook. And the same thing, Moors in America on Twitter. All right. So tell everybody about the channel. And if you haven't done so, subscribe. And on that note, Moors, we getting up out of here. Peace and love.